It was second v third, in case you hadn't heard, but Malaga went in confident not to be deterred. We went away to Ibiza, conceded to Gaia, a karate kick to Malaga's good run. Hiya! But did you think Ibiza were really going to win? Of course, now let me tell you about the goal that went in top bin. See, coming on the pitch was Haitam our goal-scoring Moroccan goal-scoring raider, where there was no sign of danger. That was until he smashed in the long ranger, showing he had more magic than Hermione Granger. Another week, no defeat. That's no mean feat. Ahead of this week's Guiricast meet. Who we playing, do you know? Yep, I know. It's them boys from Alcoyano. But that's enough of my lyrical combo. Let's talk about Malaga and get on with the show. So good day, everybody. I'm Matt Harrison, and you are listening to the Guiricast on Sport Direct Radio, the Malaga fan podcast for all the Guiris out there. We have the old foursome here today. Luke Chambers is working, so we have got Alex Ashmore, who's obviously had a busy night, and we've been waiting all night because we couldn't have 2 weeks without Alex Ashmore. So how are you, Alex?
I'm good, thank you. Late back from class. But yeah, doing well. How are you?
I'm all good. We can perhaps talk about our Friday night together later, maybe. I don't know if that'll come up. Nick Bell, how are you?
I'm very well. I want to hear more about your Friday night together.
I realised when I said it, I was a bit like, oh, that sounded a bit cute. We just went out for some beers in Madrid. I don't think there's much else to say than that. We went to.
Did you hold hands?
No, because no, we're not going down that pre-recording. Alex is tall. We've established that. No, we very much walked apart and had lots of cameos. We met a lovely Real Sociedad fan in a bar we chatted to for a bit. Alex was impressed by my Spanish, which I got all flustered about.
No, it's improved. I'm going to have to go back to that bar with my mates and flex that I know the barman, feel like a local.
Okay. And then, sorry to not get to you yet, Chris, but Chris Marquez is here too. How are you?
Very well.
Good.
I have 3 days off.
Excellent.
I had the planning of going somewhere, but my work screwed me over pretty ugly.
Okay.
So I have 3 days off in Malaga, which is also pretty beautiful.
Does that mean you have today, tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday off?
Yes.
So 5-day weekend.
Yes. But I still rather be somewhere else at this moment. But that's fine. I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
How do you hold hands with Alex Ashmore?
Just
So essentially, you're just going, isn't Alex different? Let's highlight that.
No, just normally, just grab my hand. Obviously, maybe out of the blue, I might be a bit surprised, but yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering why he was a bit funny with me on Friday, actually.
I just wasn't expecting it.
That was after the few mouths. Anyway, we'll perhaps talk about where Chris would rather be shortly. Let's do some just sort of Malaga Club de Football bits first before we do some fun Guiricast stuff. I suppose the main news, there's not a lot really, but the main news today is there was the draw for the second round of the Copa del Rey. Malaga drew El Dense, who are a team who are new to the Segunda. They got promoted last year. Quite an interesting club, actually, because they got 3 promotions in a row in the last 3 seasons. So they've sort of shot up the leagues. They're doing fairly well in Segunda. I think they're 11th, or they were certainly mid-table.
Are they doing a Swansea?
Yeah, sort of, actually. Yeah,
right? Doing a Swansea.
Yeah, it is. But Swansea famously, I think they've got the record for being the team to go up the 4 divisions the quickest and then get relegated back down 4 divisions in the 1980s. So, and
that's also very nice because you did it both ways.
Yeah, exactly. They almost won the league as well. They were top of the league in March and could have won the top league and then finished fifth in the end, or fifth or sixth. I always forget. Anyway, that's for the Swansea City podcast. Nick, any strong thoughts on this draw? I should have said it's at La Rosaleda as well, which is perhaps convenient.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wasn't massively aware of the 3 back-to-back promotions, so I kind of wrote in arrogance that we could probably take them at home if we really wanted to, because they're not a large Segunda side. Maybe rethinking that now. But again, if we get a good crowd there and we really want to go on a bit of a run, have a bit of a scalp, why not? I think the only thing I know about Eldense is that it was reported this week that David De Gea wants to buy him as well.
Yeah, I said he was going to sort of play for them as well. Yeah,
Can't be that desperate for a job, can he?
Nick, did you say El Dense or Al Dente?
Eldense.
What did I say? No.
Yeah.
It's someone that's by it's near El.
Let's be honest. I mean, David De Gea is a shitty, overrated goalkeeper.
I'm not going to say let's be honest to that, because I think he was world class. He definitely wasn't what he was at the end. In regards to shot stopping, I've not seen many better in the Premier League, to be honest with you. I know the goalie needs more in their arsenal these days. I once met David De Gea. Actually, David De Gea is the only footballer to stop me in the street.
To go down the Malaga route maybe a bit more. Apparently he's on the verge of signing for Manuel Pellegrini's Real Betis as well. So, to replace the 40-year-old Claudio Bravo. So, looks like...
I don't know. I just don't like him. I think he's
not
very overrated.
He's not so popular in Spain, I've noticed, since I've lived here. Probably because he's been away. Yeah, he's very good. Just to be clear, by the way, because I left that hanging. He stopped me in the street to ask me where Selfridges was. He didn't just stop me to go in, hey, this is like 10 years ago as well. You're just some guy I recognize.
Is it?
It was the day after.
He didn't stop you because he thought you were going to score.
I don't know what that means.
He's a goalkeeper.
Oh, right, I get you. Slow. I was a bit slow. No, it was the day after Swansea had won the League Cup. I was walking through Market Street in Manchester, and him and his mate stopped me. So I looked like the sort of guy that dressed in Selfridges. I did have a nice coat on that day, actually. Anyway.
Can you say his mates? Were there any other footballer mates, or were they just mates?
No, I think, there was a man with him about the same age. It was his first season at the United, so he's very young. But I did think, because I did have a photo of him and shake his hand, I thought, those hands are very expensive hands. Probably the most expensive hands I've ever shaken. Anyway, Chris, do you have any thoughts on the cup game? Because I wasn't here when you talked about the Copa del Rey. I know you had some strong views then. Do they remain?
Another shitty game, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Name on the trophy.
Every team you could draw, you pick the least. You get the least attractive one. I mean, Eldense.
Yeah, I think I'm just happy to have a home game just to sort of tick things over, and it'd be nice, it's a bit.
Are you looking forward to going to Malaga Eldense?
I'm gonna go. I'm not really.
I'm gonna go as well, probably, if it's free.
It's
I'm not sure if I'm going to pay 15 euros or 20 euros for it.
I suppose the other little story I should mention linked to that is it's on a Thursday night at 8 p.m. It's Puente here in Spain. It's another holiday, so I've got 3 days off school, which is nice. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I have to work, mate.
Oh, sorry to keep bringing this. That always seems to happen when I celebrate the holidays. You say you've got
Chris won't get this reference, but do you remember that old lady in Bristol when another general election was called?
Yeah.
Another one in me. That's how I feel about Spanish national holidays, because it just.
I'm lucky because I work in an international school, so I sort of get some of the best of the international.
Everyone, right? But do you also celebrate the Dutch Koningsdag? No. So how international is the school? I mean,
well, it's a British curriculum school.
Okay. So
American? No, don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Oh, I thought you're saying you're a British American school. Sorry.
No, it's British.
British.
Anyway, the other thing I was just quickly on this, I was going to mention perhaps I don't think it's. Well, I don't know. It might be an issue. Maybe that Spain Spain's women's team play at La Rosaleda 2 days before this game against Sweden in the Women's Nation League. So La
That's the
Rosaleda.
match I would like to go.
Okay.
I prefer going to the Spanish women's team instead of going to Malaga Aldense.
Okay. Well, that's on a Tuesday night, so I can't make that. I would have liked to have gone to that as well, but yeah.
What
It should
like
be
what kind of British holidays are there?
not really any.
No.
Bank
No,
holiday.
I mean, we follow like the same Christmas holidays, and actually, I suppose we don't even follow the summer holidays. We follow the Spanish summer holiday. We take the best from all worlds.
Don't you have a Queen's Day or maybe I don't know, England?
Even when
No,
we actually
Royal Pie Day. I don't know what you do.
when we
Wedding Day.
go on, say.
We get Christmas off, we get Easter weekend, and then various bank holidays. There's nothing else throughout the year where you just get a random day off for the Queen or.
Well, they were trying to
national-
make it that, weren't they? The Queen's death or the coronation, they were trying to make a national holiday.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get
Death is
any.
not- most of the time, death isn't a real party, Alex.
Any. Moving away.
Like, don't you celebrate anything in England? Like,
We're
no,
quite-
where everybody is like feels very English or very British or.
No, we just live for the weekend.
Wales have St. David's Day, and we celebrate that a lot, but it's not a day off. You usually have, like, when you go to school, you dress up as something Welsh, and we make quite a big deal of St. David's Day in Wales, but it's not a holiday. It's not like
What a boring side of it's.
okay.
It's almost Japan. They get 4 days off a year.
Well,
That's
it's not-
that's including their holidays. How horrible is that?
anyway.
But
Speaking
we have
of
universal healthcare, so who cares?
Speaking of holidays and trips away, I'll just mention it quickly. It was announced we're going to have 1,100 tickets for Real Murcia away, which is, again, I think we might fill that away end. I know there's buses selling out from a lot of the Peñas already, or getting close to selling out. I did consider this, but it's just a little too late on a Sunday for me. So I've bailed out, and I'm going to try and do the 2 at the start of the new year instead. Keep my money for that. But just again, hopefully another big away following. That would be great. Just 2 other little things I was going to mention. While we're talking about tickets, this seems a good time to bring it up then. I saw this via David Picon, but he was like sharing it from Su Deporte. I was quite amazed at this, actually, the amount of sort of money Malaga have made from ticket sales this year, and how much, we've generated, because I guess living in the UK and with these sort of, when I did live in the UK and these sort of mega elite Premier League clubs you hear about all the time, like ticket revenue doesn't really touch the surface anymore. But in the 3rd tier, if you are selling out a 30,000 seater stadium most weeks, it is going to generate a lot of money for that level. So I've just got the money here. They reckon about 50,000 euros ticket revenue per match is on average. 300,000 raised so far from season ticket holders and tickets, 2.3 million. And they reckon that it's 2.8 million to cover the whole salary bill of the first team. That's incredible.
I have a question about this.
Go for it.
There are 17,000 season ticket holders, right? With all different prices. And every match we sell like 7,000 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
What does a ticket cost?
€14.
Average.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could get in the expensive seats around 25, I think.
Okay. So 7,000 tickets times I don't know, 7,000 times 14.
Well, I don't. Is this a maths podcast now?
Yeah, I don't know. You're a teacher, English teacher, but I don't care. You should be able to do some maths. No, but I come to a different number then.
Yeah, I don't know how how it's worked out, but I'm sure these journalists have
Are you still calculating?
If my maths is correct, then it would be 70,000. Sorry, it'd be about 90,000 euros.
Yeah. So where's the other 40?
Oh, I see. Right, you're saying that it's too low.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting. I didn't think.
But you also have to telling to the restaurant that, I live above a restaurant and I'm near their kitchen. Sometimes it's fun.
Is that the restaurant you used to do the podcast in?
Do you also would have to take like the season ticket holders, divide what they paid for their season ticket into the home games.
I don't think from judging the way I read it, I think the ticket revenue at €50,000 is additional on top of the season ticket revenue as well.
Okay,
that's the additional €50,000 a game.
Like you just said, you've calculated about 90,000, which is a lot, but there's probably going to be running costs. I don't know how much it costs to run a match day at La Rosaleda. I guess it's a lot. I'm not saying it's 40,000, but I don't know. I have no idea.
No. Your staff is always going to be your biggest expenditure in a football club. Your playing staff are the biggest expenditure because they're the ones who command the big bucks. What Malaga are sort of saying with these statistics is that they are not far from being a sustainable club model. If you can drive up the revenue through ticket sales and things like that to cover the cost of the playing staff, everything else on top of that, merchandise, events, things like that, that is gravy. I'm not saying that they are in a profit.
You don't know what the rent of the stadium is monthly, but
that's it. Yeah, but your biggest expenditure. So in most businesses, wages account for about 50%.
Yeah.
So if Malaga can cover the cost of the playing team, everything else can go towards covering everything else. Then they're not far from being that sustainable model potentially.
But you also have Jose Maria, who earns I believe it's 17,000 euros a month.
What?
That doesn't surprise me. As a judicial administrator, they come in, they take the cash, and I can't imagine the stadium costs more than 200,000 a year max.
I don't think they pay much for the stadium. To be honest.
Max 150 maybe.
And all those stadium maintenance elements to it as well will be covered by the city, not the club. So you got to take factors out. But it's a positive.
But travels positive because you have to travel a lot.
Yeah. It's on paper, it's looking good. It's looking a lot better than it was going to be.
Yes, absolutely. And then should we wrap up with some sort of Guiricast news? I've got 3 sort of bullet points here. So I'll start. I'll do them in chronological order. Obviously, finishing with the most important one last. We released Malaga Gaga, the November edition this week. So I don't think I need to say much more there. Go check it out.
What is the highlight? What was the highlight? I read it all, but what do you think was like the best part
of October? Of the fans
of November? Yes.
Okay. What did I write about? I enjoyed. I enjoyed writing about Alfonso Herrero the most, to be honest with you. That was the bit I enjoyed writing the most. But like I said, I think I put in there. I put the top. Go into La Rosaleda with friends. That's a nice one. I thought that was a nice one to throw in there.
I did enjoy the things to throw in the Rio Guadalmina.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What did I throw in? I wrote it a while ago. Now I've forgotten what I threw in.
I read it.
The what do you call it? Changing kickoff times for YouTube circuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although actually, in a weird way, I almost did it as a positive, just for the novelty factor of going to a midday game on a Thursday. But I left that out. I'd written enough. So go check that out. It's on our socials and stuff. Chris is not going to be. Chris is going to be in Malaga Thursday, but Bell is not. Nor is Luke Chambers. Where are you going, Nick Bell?
We are going to Anfield, because we have got an award to go and win.
Don't say that.
I've already written the
I
speech.
hate you guys for saying that the whole day. We're not going to win.
I've booked an extra seat ticket for the plane, for the trophy.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for it. I was even looking at the table plan this afternoon, and we're sat at table 19, and my theology is
I saw your tweet.
perfect spot, really. You're not too close to the stage because you want a bit of a preamble to get up and get your award, but then you're not sat too far back from the stage. It becomes a bit. He's taken a while to get up to the stage to go and collect his award. So I'm thinking positively.
I looked at the table plan, actually. You've got a lot, I don't follow many YouTubers and things like that, but there's quite a lot of football content creators around you that I like, actually. So I don't know the people on the table with you. I did look at that too, but you've got the Eat Sleep Media people, which was the one I was most excited about. They do all the amazing Welsh football media these days, and they're excellent.
Yeah.
Redmond TV.
We're also sat next to the Anfield Wrap, which must be that'll be quite a lively table considering that we're on their home turf as well.
Yeah,
Redmond
you got
TV.
Redmen TV are behind you. Once featured Matt Harrison on their channels at one point.
We can't wait for our 0% beers. That's what we're looking for. We're saying
I do these Vamos R episodes and sort of, I don't know, wave the flag for beer drinking, and then you go there and rep us, and in a night of celebration of zero.
I mean, at what point are we like content creators? Until what point are we just like
this is existential now.
No, adult beer drinking wannabe content creators.
You can. I think we know where I've placed myself. So,
yeah.
Although I'm drinking. This is Nes tea, by the way, with Sinazuka con limon.
I think we've looked at the fact that we're both working the next day and gone. It'd be good if we win. Then we'll get on it. I'll book the hotel and we'll just deal with the next day.
That's never stopped myself on a Sunday at La Rosaleda.
Nick in our group today. I bought an extra seat for the award on the airplane.
Got to put the trophy somewhere, Chris.
Which is a nice.
It's the perfect place to go towards the stage. Oh, fuck you guys! We're not going to win. And hear anything. It's impossible, but really, it's impossible.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying yeah to that. I was sort of saying yeah to in general. But mention
Nick,
of that.
When we win it, cut this clip, Nick, when we win it, and post it on every
social. We're not winning. It's impossible.
Okay.
If we win it, I will get a Guiricast tattoo.
Where, on your forehead?
No, not on my forehead.
on his arse. That's where I want it. But you've got to look at that word impossible, Chris, and just separate it into two, and that's I'm possible.
Impossible.
Posse. We're a posse. No. Anyway. Nick has talked about there's an extra chair or seat booked on the flight. Because Nick is flying over, as is Luke Chambers, as are several of our listeners. Alex Ashmore's getting on a train. Chris Marquez is, I don't know, he could probably walk to Malaga. I'm getting on a bus. Chris, what is happening Saturday afternoon?
Well, Richard Ashmore is coming to Malaga.
Chris is getting a tattoo. That's what's happening on Saturday.
And we are all ready to meet Richard Ashmore because we all have been posting under his latest post. If you haven't posted something yet, Richard Ashmore at Twitter, or what is it?
At Richard Ashmore without the E.
Okay.
Matt's already met him.
I've had many beers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we are all excited.
I've celebrated a goal with Richard Ashmore.
God, I forgot.
He has quite a good Twitter account, which I really enjoy.
I think he's probably been quite active over the last 2 days.
Yeah, yeah, and just he's not just a Twitter entity; he's a very nice man too. So
yeah, but he's of course coming to the Guiricast meetup. Yes.
Yeah, we should clear that this isn't a Richard Ashmore meetup. He's a special guest.
Yes. You can all take a picture with him. We would very much like that. Like, oh, are you Richard Ashmore? Can I take a picture with you?
Chris, have you replied to his tweets?
When?
No, have you?
No, I'm scared of him. I once asked him. I asked him to send a video for your for the Christmas episode last year. I'm still waiting for the video.
Oh. Anyway, so yeah, basically, just to perhaps sum up, and I'm sure the people listening to this know about already, we will be in Malaga I'm probably going to have to go there a bit earlier in the morning now, thanks to a cock up from the club shop, but that's for another time. From midday in the cool old bar, which I always forget the name from, but I know it has like Antigua and Casa in there.
Antigua Casa de Guardia.
There you go. Just always, for some reason, that just will never stick in my mind which order words go in.
I mean, if you do a meetup, you have to go there because
it's big and smelly.
It stinks like shit. But it's there's nothing more Malaga like the Antigua Casa de Guardia, if you ask me. Like,
I think once you're in there about a minute, I think the smell gets quite nice, actually.
Yeah.
Smells shoes on the floor. Like, you know, when you lift your shoe off the floor and you can hear that. Like,
yeah. Yeah. And I always wonder when you go in there, even at like midday, it always feels like it's been open for hours. So there's light in there always.
And I always ask myself, what is the entrance? The fore entrance, like how you show the front entrance. Because you can enter from both sides.
I think there's 3 entrances.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's 3.
The entrance and the back entrance. This is
where?
Great. There's a back.
Yes.
And a side entrance.
The side entrance.
Yeah. Oh, Chris,
yeah.
This is exciting stuff on Saturday. I can't wait to show you the side entrance.
I'm going to use all 3 of them. But after that, like, we are doing Matt's famous
Rutas de Bares
stadium. We're going to have a small bite.
A small bite.
And I will explain something about the city for everybody who is interested.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll be a little tour guide for the people with questions.
Yeah. And my tour will be, and that's the biggest Irish bar in Malaga. And it's been there since, I don't know, 2005 or so. It doesn't look very old anyway. So that's enough of Guiricast sort of stuff. Let's go on to talk about Malaga Club de Football and the game this past weekend where they travelled to Ibiza. So yeah, this past Sunday, we went to Ibiza, and I am part of the collective we there. I had a lovely weekend in Ibiza. Obviously, as we've said already, I started in Madrid with Alex Ashmore before boarding a Saturday night flight. It was a sort of, I did have a sort of moment in Ibiza where the sun was setting and it was still 0-0. And I thought, this is nice, isn't it? This I did sort of have this is the life sort of moment until they scored, and that annoyed me. And I thought, oh, fuck off! Why have I followed this club?
I must have to say, the scenery in the background of this, we went full Chris Marquez on the live stream. The scenery in the background looked beautiful.
Yeah,
the stadium itself angered me.
Well, no, because this is actually the second time I've been there. The first time I went there, it was scaffolding, and I think from the inside and what you would have seen on TV, I can sort of see it still looked like scaffolding, but the outside they have made an effort and they've put like a sort of shiny light blue sort of coating on it to make it look more like Ude Ibiza's home, because I think it's been home to lots of different clubs on the island, and I think they've only been there a few years.
Say it's just a crappy stadium, it's a shitty stadium.
It's the fact that the stands behind the goals don't go all the way along the back of the pitch.
But I crappy stadium.
I mean, it doesn't have olive tree behind the goal.
The fact that you can't even kick it into row H, that annoyed me. Because there's only 10 rows.
But they did let you drink beer in the stand.
Which not everything is about beer, Matt.
Pardon?
Not everything is about beer. We're talking about the stadium. It's good that they are. If you look at the stadium, like how it looks,
it's quirky.
Doesn't include beer as like nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it does. If I'm talking about a match day, it's near a beef for town.
Yes.
Beef for town. You've got a lovely backdrop. There's not many better places where I've seen a sunset dropping over the stand. It still needs to be built. It's pretty funny. It's a fine stadium. I'm not saying like, oh my God, you've got to go visit Can Nices, but I was like, oh, this is really cool. And it was like, again, it's different to all the other stadiums we've been to this season so far. I thought it was quirky.
Do you know why you can see the sunset though, Matt? Because there's only fucking 6 rows.
Yeah,
that's why.
It took a long time. It take a long time.
What did Can Miss mean in English, Nick? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, someone accused us of interpreting it as the lost dog, which I think was a rival podcast. I assume now. Is it Le Momban something? Yeah, but they put like a little.
Well, they're not. How should I say it? Like we should never mention them. To be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll listen to us. So
I'm sorry. One other thing I forgot to say about Ibiza Stadium, they have a DJ set or DJ stand in the stadium that's playing music.
Of course it did. That does make it a little bit cooler, to be fair.
Man, Feyenoord has a whole club in their stadium, and so does Utrecht. I mean, that's not exceptional.
Yeah, but it's sort of playing up to a gimmick, isn't it? Which I quite like in a way.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a fun trip. It was good. A lot of Malaga fans there again. The bus to the airport was quite funny after. It was just full of Malaga fans. The bus to the plane was full of Malaga fans. The plane was full of Malaga fans. And if you want to listen to more, go listen to Vamos a Can Nices, which I released yesterday. And I have not listened to that. I do not know what I've been talking about in there. There's some blurred memories of me talking about a Patreon cocktail for about 5 minutes. And it does feature Alex Ashmore. He is in the first 5 minutes.
It's a long geographical one. It starts in Malaga, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ibiza, and then do you end it back at the tavern?
No, I didn't make it that far. I finished with I think I call a mega can of Estrella Dam I bought in Malaga. Anyway, it's probably not the most insightful, but I'm sure it's got a vibe about it. Anyway, let's talk about Malaga's vibes on the pitch. No real surprises in the starting 11. I guess the two headlines was, I think we sort of learned a couple of days before that Kevin was a doubt, and then he wasn't even in the squad. I don't think he travelled. So Hernandez came in on the wing, which perhaps we were a little surprised about because there was another guy we thought might play on the wing, which we can talk about it shortly. And I think as we predicted, Murillo took the place of Einar in defence. So Nick, I guess the question here, and let's not talk about him too much because we'll talk about him later, but was he happy with Hernandez ahead of Haitam on the wing, or did you think Haitam should have started?
I think if you're looking at like for likes, then yeah, you would have naturally have thought Kevin out, Haitam in, but I can see why they went with Hernandez, and I was happy for Hernandez at the start of the game as well. More on that later, because I think he's someone who hasn't maybe had his opportunity and his chance. Murillo coming in at centre back for Einar. We'll talk about first half performances in a second, but Christ, what a great starting debut.
Yeah. Well, again, this will come back to the sun, because I could barely see the other side of the pitch Malaga attacking. So I essentially just watched Murillo for the first half, which proved good viewing, actually.
When the Malaga fans singing, he can't see, the goalie can't see. I saw a video of that.
Yeah, I think I did pick up on that eventually. I was trying to work out what they were singing, and yeah, I think I worked out on the last one. yeah, it was really, really like proper sun in the eye sort of stuff. And yeah, my sunglasses were not sufficient. Alex, I just quickly, Nick, I totally agree with you there. I was with Haitam, obviously, he was excellent when he came off the bench last time. And again, we'll talk about him later. But I thought, oh, well, maybe there's still a little doubt in rushing him back to start. So, and I thought actually Hernandez has probably earned a start. So I didn't have any big issues with it. And I knew Haitam would probably come on at some point. Alex, any sort of issues or happy?
No, I think generally happy. You know, come on to performances later, but I think given the situation that we had and the players we had available, I think it was a good selection.
And Chris, you obviously wanted Haitam to start, yes?
Who? Oh, you mean Bam Bam Haitam?
Yeah.
Yes. But I can also understand because Pellicer said it after the match that no signing this winter would be as good as Haitam.
Yeah, lovely line from him. I thought I did read.
But I can also understand that they are, because he also said that after those kind words towards Haitam, he also said that they are bringing him slowly because of his injury, which makes total sense. So that he will play each week, he will get some more play time.
Yeah, I think that's the sensible thing. And again, as we'll talk about later, we've seen he's quite a useful substitute to have anyway, and a good one to bring off the bench. So I think like one of the things I put in the agenda was, did this feel like a game between two teams chasing the top place? Maybe I don't mean in regards of quality, but in regards of, I don't know, nervousness. So what did you think about first half performance, Nick, in general? Was it good? Did anybody stand out for you? Or did you sort of hinted at already?
Yeah, well, I think to answer your first question, did it look like a game between second and third? I'd have to disagree. I thought we looked far superior team, especially away from home. I think, there's a lot of onus been put on this game as a measure as to where we will end up at the end of the season, and we look far superior. As I said, Murillo looked fantastic. Looked like he'd been playing there all season. A great stand-in for both Juande and Einar. And I was also impressed with David Larrubia. I thought for large portions of this first half, he was very effective in doing what we want Larrubia to do, which is why I gave him a 7 in my ratings, because he was getting that opportunity to get into the pocket, and be able to dictate play, which I think recently when he's been pushed out to the right, he's not been as effective. So, it was well controlled. I liked every single element of it. I think the only person that kind of let himself down a little bit was Hernandez.
Yeah, that's literally they're the two players I would highlight. Like, first of all, because as I said, Murillo, I thought he looked calm, he was strong. He's dealing with like quite tricky players in front of him. He just seemed to handle absolutely everything, every little challenge that came his way, and he looked really assured. And you could have got him mixed up with Nelson next to him. And yeah, David Larrubia I thought was excellent as well. Still, sort of like, I think once he still needs to find that final pass a little bit more, but like you said, he was like for getting things moving, like dictating the play, like you said. I thought he was excellent. And also I do agree, like I was sort of hoping you would say that, because sometimes the giddiness of being in this ground and stuff, I did think we were the team in control for most of the first half. Alex, anything to add to what Nick said, or any sort of other things you noticed?
No, I think second what he said, really. I think we were definitely the better team. Could have, added a little bit more in that final third. I think we weren't as potent as we could have been. But yeah, generally, I think we dominated is the wrong word, but I didn't see Ibiza threatening us, that much.
Yeah. I think controlled is the word Nick used. And I think that would perhaps.
Yeah, we were in control, but I also think that both teams didn't want to take any risks in the first half, because it's the number 2 against the number 3. So in regards of, did you see the number 2 against the number 3 play in terms of how good both teams were, then I agree with Nick. But in the side of two teams playing for 3 points, which are vital, I would say yes, because both teams didn't take any risk.
Yeah.
Although I think also in the first half and also in the second half again, we have a serious problem with creating with good chances.
I do
That's
think
the only problem we have.
I think a better team scored in that game.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was missing for me, was just that lack of chances. You know, you can control a game, you can look great doing it, but if you're not going to put the ball in the box for Roberto, for Dione, then there's not much point in doing it.
That is becoming our problem this season so far, and we scored goals, of course, but not as much as the number 3 on the table should score.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's and I know you guys, I joined you on the live stream after the game, and you guys, I think, asked me about Dione again, and I do, yeah, like I was, slightly defensive of him earlier in the season and saying, well, it's quite good he's versatile and drops back, but I'm happy to concede now that that is becoming an issue. And Hernandez maybe wasn't great in this game, but Larrubia doesn't perhaps have as much to aim for in front of him. And not to bring up Kevin, I think Kevin's crossing's been quite good this year as well, especially his left foot seems to have got better. And there's only Roberto to aim for, and obviously Victor Garcia is the one that seems to be able to hit Roberto perfectly. So yeah,
we should be back next week. That's what I've heard.
Excellent. Because Danny Sanchez, I thought, was fine, but he had a tough game against that. Was his name Socko, wasn't it?
Socko, yeah.
He was tricky.
It's becoming a thing, right? That we sign like the top blokes of the league, and then they're not really showing up. Like Ruben Castro this season, Dione. Is it becoming a thing, or are we just unlucky for 2 seasons in a row now?
Still quite
defensive. When you sign players that old, there is a high chance that they aren't going to be as good as they were last year.
Well, let's be clear, Ruben Castro was 10 years older than Dione. There's a big gap. I still think there's a good player in Dione, but
but to be honest, in Alex's offense, everyone is old for Alex.
Yeah.
Who is in his age.
Make a comment. Our squad, we had an average age of 25 on the weekend, which is quite young for Malaga.
Very young. Well, but this is it, isn't it? I think this sort of sums up how I was actually thinking about this. I think just before the game, when I was looking at the team and the squad, that it perhaps sums up how mad a football club we are, isn't it? Where 2 years ago we went from having like the second youngest team in the league, then last year we went to having the second oldest, and now we're going back to having like one of the youngest again. It's like, there's no real coherent plan there, is there? It's
Ibiza was 28. Their average age was 28. I guess Escassi and a few others.
Let's be honest. We wouldn't be where we are if we had a plan.
Yeah, true, exactly. Exactly. That's the point I was making. But
and I'm sure we'll come on to it later on as well in terms of, when we talk about change to 8 to starting 11. But just to note this out now, Malaga have got a serious problem up top.
Yeah,
they have a serious problem with we were all very happy for Roberto and the way he's played and how many goals he scored, but this is something like 5 games without a goal. Dione, same. Our goals are coming from elsewhere on the pitch, and that's never usually a good sign, especially coming into this time of year. And if you've got ambitions to be up there with Castellón and Ibiza, you need a 20-goal a season striker to be able to compete, and we, at the moment, at this rate or not, don't have one.
You should have won this match as well. It was 6 points. You could.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's all right, Nick. The money we got from Alex Calvo, we're going to spend it next summer, so it'll be fine.
we got away with it. Like, we escaped from Ibiza.
Which also,
you should have won it. I
should say as well, just we talked about a tough place to go and things like that. I will say, like, you know, I'm slightly defensive of the place. It definitely has its issues, that stadium, but it wasn't exactly a cauldron of noise either. I will say that for it. I didn't feel like, oh, we're in Ibiza. It was, you know, obviously I was in the away end, so maybe I shouldn't hear our fans more. But yeah, it did make me think, are these really going to get on top of, you know, in big games and intimidate? I don't know. Maybe it sounded different on TV.
In comparison to like the Castellón game when we saw how they were in their stadium,
that was level, yeah.
But that's also in there. It helps them also because every team will come to La Rosaleda and will give like 200%. Well, when you go to Ibiza, you are like, okay, another week. Let's play football.
Yeah, they got the distraction of you know, a party island as well, which was actually very, very quiet when this weekend.
Maybe they didn't take Kevin because no. I'll say nothing again.
I know. No, it was a funny comment. You know, you can say that. Just quickly, I didn't put this in like our little agenda. I didn't really have any strong views on it, but do we have any thoughts on our 3 old players before we perhaps talk about Alex Gallard's goal shortly? But I didn't really. None of them stood out. I thought Escassi sort of was quite dogged again.
I didn't really
picked up a ball and then like.
The only thing I really noticed was taking a throw in, which I seem to remember him doing for Malaga a few times last year.
All right, okay, that's exciting.
I thought Jimenez actually didn't do too badly to start with. Up against Dione, I think he kind of got the better of him a little bit. It was when Haitam came on that Javi Jimenez turned into the Javi Jimenez that we kind of knew.
Does that say something about Jimenez? About Javi Jimenez, or does that say a lot about Dione?
Both, I think.
Well, yeah, I think that's exactly the question, really, isn't it? Like, say you're looking at 2 different kind of caliber of player as well. So yeah, and Alex Gallard as well. Obviously, we'll come on to his goal shortly, but the celebration,
fine, good.
You're happy with that?
Yeah, I applaud that. He's only on loan. You know, he didn't really play for us long. Wasn't here long. Celebrate, go for it. He's not a Malaga legend.
I wouldn't do it.
No, he didn't.
You know why? Because he had a horrible season last season, which explains everything. The club gave him off like all the time he needed, I totally agree with that. Malaga should have given him all the time he needed for the things that happened last season to him and his family. Losing a baby is very hard.
Yeah.
But they gave him like 4 or 5 months off, which is fine, which I totally agree. But then to celebrate the goal like that is a bit ugly, if you ask me, to be honest, in my honest opinion.
I 100% agree with Chris as well on that. It just felt like a bit. I get the excitement, I get the joy, but it's not exactly like scoring his first goal for Ibiza. He scored quite a few this season, and I think, you know, given the support that we gave him, it left a bit of a bad taste. But you know, each their own. I would.
It looked a bit like a revenge celebration or something.
Yeah,
it didn't even look like.
No, to be fair, I'm quite happy to go along with that. Actually, when I thought about it, I thought, no, I'm not big on this not celebrating thing, but like now you guys have sort of brought that up, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a fair point. Actually, I'd say that's not great. Just a couple of other little things to mention, and I don't know if I've got the chronology of the game in the wrong order here, but we talk about it every week now. Don Alfonso Herrera I'll be honest with you, I saw the save in the stadium and I thought, oh, that guy's great. And then when I saw the replay back, I think the next day, I was like, Jesus Christ, what a save.
Did you really find that with this save? It's a good save, but not...
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I don't think it's as fun as his other 2 saves, but he gets down low and it's sort of like hit on like a bit of a half volley and it sort of bobbles and he's got players in the way and he gets down so fast and gets such a strong hand on it. I thought it was a superb save.
He was excellent, to be fair.
It was a goalkeeper save, which every goalkeeper could have made. It's not that special like the other ones. That's more my thing. It was a good save.
I think it's an excellent save. But yeah,
last week's was insane.
Yeah.
And the other one when he like stops the 2 shots coming towards him is even better for me.
Yeah. Well,
And this was something like I saw Gavi on we had a kid's birthday, and they were playing football. And Gavi has a thing where he wants to be a goalkeeper every time we play football. For the people who don't know, Gavi's my 4-year-old son. And Gavi really sucks in being a goalkeeper. They scored 5 times. And then Gavi thought, okay, this is not going very well. And he became a clown where he just would do "Whoa" every time they scored, and then he would scream "Arriba, arriba!" It was so fun. But it was also like last weekend's one. Gavi could have stopped it the same way, even though he's allowed.
No, I thought you were going to say Javi made some amazing save from nowhere. This was excellent save.
No, we have to be honest.
I thought Javi was made out to be a goalkeeper after all the times you've taken him to play football, and he just picks it up.
Yeah, that's a bit of thing as well. Since we are playing football, and I leave it up to him because I don't really care. He always says I'm the goalkeeper. He has the height for it. He just doesn't have the quality.
Well, it gets you very popular amongst your friends if you're the goalie. Everyone likes having a friend that's a goalie, don't they? So
really.
Yeah, because that means you've got someone to go in goals when you play football. When you play like 5-a-side, you go, oh yeah.
Always feels like okay, we would always choose the one that sucks the most in football and say, you go in goal.
No, but like if someone's volunteering, that's always a good person to have, friendship group. Yeah.
But then if he sucks in goalkeeping.
Yeah, I've actually just going back to Alfonso Herrero and saves. I think the one that set up the Haitam goal, and who did we play? Who did we play in that? Oh, Cordoba. I think that must be one of my favorite saves ever because, like, not even joking, because all week because people always go, how did Malaga play in the last, that's just what people say to me now. It's like, hello, have you been to a Malaga game? Of course you have. How do they play, etc. And I think I showed everyone the video of that save. I was like, you've got to see this save. And then we scored. I
still think the other one was better.
Yeah, that's fine. I think yes, like I said last week, I think the aesthetics of the one against Cordoba were more fun.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Anyway, Alfonso Herrero is human. Goals do go past him occasionally. And as we talked about already, Alex Gallar scored there. We covered the celebration. Nick, I've seen this from only one angle, really. It just looked like an excellent finish.
Yeah, it was a great finish and kind of what you expect from Alex Gallar. He showed it a lot of Cartagena, ironically alongside Ruben Castro. I think he came in a period of the game, probably the only period of the game when Ibiza looked like they were on top as well. So again, I don't know if this is a tactical thing from Ibiza to absorb as much pressure as possible and then sort of ratchet it up after an hour, but they really started to have a bit of a go at us and were rewarded with this goal. And to be fair, at the time, we kind of felt dismayed by it, and you thought that was it. That's going to be the result now, because we were so under the cosh for a while.
Yeah, I think I said on the Vamos episode that when it ticked towards 70 minutes, I thought, because Ibiza was sort of coming back a bit, I thought this is going to finish 0-0. And when they scored, I think I was quite despondent and think, we've blown it with how we've played. But, I shouldn't have been despondent because we had Haitam on the bench. And as we know from the week before, he doesn't have to be on the pitch very long to get a goal. So since you sort of cheerleaded him on last week, Chris, I'm going to ask you to tell me about Haitam's lovely, lovely goal.
I think the guy is 1 meter tall, but insane. He takes a shot from 30 yards.
25-30, yeah. I'd probably say,
25-30 yards, which is very small. The ball comes to his knee almost. And he just takes a shot. And it hits the bar. And then it hits the floor. And then it hits the net.
It's perfect. Again,
and everybody was wow.
Can we all take a moment to appreciate Nick's tweet with the oh god, I was mentioning his name earlier. Steve Coogan, Alan Partridge commentary over the top of it. I really enjoyed it.
Like a traction engine.
Yeah. It really was as well, to be fair. And I think even if you look at our Golazzo, our best Gary Neville impressions, you could see that we're getting frustrated that Dione slowed it down and that he's put Haitam in a difficult position. Kind of playing it a little bit behind him, putting it in front of 4 defenders as well. And then when he pulls that out from nowhere, and I mean this really, there's not a lot that'll make me say "fuck me sideways" on a live stream. But that
Alex was like screaming, like I thought, is that Alex? The most feminine voice you can ever, the most feminine scream, like ah.
That was
And then Luke did another feminine. Yeah, oh,
unbelievable.
The first time I'd been asked first time I'd been asked to talk about that goal was obviously on the live stream after, where I sort of tried to find some words, and I went, and he said, "What do you think of the goal, man?" I went, "Oh, fucking hell!" I just couldn't.
And then you French kiss the old man.
I still don't know who this old man is.
The best bit about the live stream, I went, and there's Matt Harrison hugging an old man. You just don't hug an old man.
I hugged a lot of people. I hugged the lads next to me. I hugged Christian Makowski's friends in front of me. And then, there must be, I don't even remember the old man, but there was just a lot of, how it is when you score, you just jump around, and if there's someone there, you go, hey. And just to go with like the same from what you guys said from the stadium, like it was sort of, because we were behind the goal, we just sort of saw him go behind, to us in front of those defenders, but behind those 4 defenders. And then all of a sudden, we didn't really see him shoot. We just saw the ball soaring through the air, and then the goalie was at full stretch. And I thought it was going to go over, and it just dipped perfectly, didn't it? And like, because it was so unexpected, we heard the sound of the bar. Oh my God, it was so beautiful, the sound. Like, and then the bouncing, and there's that like 3 seconds where everyone's like, has it gone in? Has it gone in? And then some people are celebrating, it's gone in, it's gone in.
Shall we try to do something?
What?
Go on.
Why? Every time I come up with something or I want to say something, Matt always looks afraid.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Alex is as well.
I think I'd rather you finish the sentence quicker. Can we try something and just carry on? I don't like the ominous pause.
No, because I like your faces at that moment.
So yes, you can try something, Chris. Go on.
Do you guys think that he can score like next weekend again? Is that?
Yes,
of course he can.
It's in the realms of possibility. Yeah.
Should we ask him? Because last week, what was the name of the episode?
Mile High Club.
Mile High Club.
Maybe we can call it this week Haitam Airlines.
That's a bit naff, I think, to be honest with you.
Okay. Or find something else with the airplane. Okay. And then ask him, because we have contact with him in some way, that if he scores, he does an airplane celebration.
To be fair, you might have to compete with that, because when he hit the griddy, which from the youths I'm told is a thing Jesse Lingard does as well. Alex, you can tell me more than anybody. You hitting with the griddy is quite a cool celebration, I hear.
It is. Well, it's the in thing. You've seen it in the NFL. For those of you who don't know, it's the one where you've got your fingers together in an space line, and you're like sort of.
Yeah. What is a griddy? I don't know what a griddy is, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, the episode for this pod is got to be nothing other than, whoa, we're going to Ibiza.
Oh, this has got to be. Yes. I thought we'd absolutely exhausted that pun.
We're going to now Ibiza. That's a good.
Anyway, we can have this production meeting.
Okay, are we asking? Am I asking it? Because I will ask it right now.
Then
we have to do an airplane episode again.
I don't want to. No, that's just. I prefer Nick's title's the one. We go into
Which one?
High Beefer. That's just obvious. That's perfect.
We can put an airplane in it.
Okay, fine. Have your airplane, Chris. Text him. Now the
Chris?
hat on. And
Is that
I'm
Chris? Or is that
asking, are we doing it or not?
we can talk about it later. This is not podcast
But for
material.
now, we need to know whether it was a good point at the end. That's what we need to know right now.
Yeah. Was it a good point in the end? But I think we've sort of answered this by saying sort of yes and no in both senses.
Yeah.
Like we played well, so we should have won. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, no. But then also, oh yes, sorry, it's useful because we're a beefer away. But then also no, because Castellon have pulled ahead a bit more. There.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does anyone have any advances on that?
You
But do we
were
really
at the
think?
start of the game.
I mean, let's ask ourselves and answer for real. Do we really think we stand a chance against Castellon because they are
Chris,
another
that's the opening of the next part of the podcast. So you left that's something to ponder there. And I know Dione was talking about that too, so we can maybe talk about that in the next bit. But let's do Chumbo and Biznaga then. Chumbo, I sort of think I've got a feeling who it's going to be. So I'll go to you first, Nick, because I think you might have mentioned who yours is, but I'm not sure.
I did the match ratings this week, and my lowest score went to Hernandez. Unfortunately, he didn't take this opportunity with both hands. He looked sluggish. He, didn't seem to have too much of an idea against their right back, and his end product was missing for large parts. And if I was to give maybe a dishonourable mention, again, Dione, just for his general play.
Mine would be Hernandez as well for the same reasons you said. I thought for a little bit maybe Danny Sanchez, but I think he got a bearing on Soko in the end. And also shout out to Sergio's friend, who I've forgotten the name, the young kid Sergio's always with. He got Danny Sanchez's shirt and sat next to me on the plane back. So I did say he was the one in the Nelson Monte t-shirt with Padre. And I did ask him, did they meet Nelson Monte? And they were like, yeah, he came over. And I said, oh, did you get his shirt? And he's like, no, but I got Danny Sanchez. And so that's a bit not quite as good. But I think Dione and Hernandez would probably be my two shouts as well, but Hernandez just about. Alex, any difference?
I'm going to go Dione. I feel like he's had enough time to put in good performances. He's not. He has put in good performances, but he's really been struggling these last few weeks. And I think Juan Hernandez hasn't played a lot. Could potentially give him more time, but I expect better from Dione. So I think Dione needs to do better.
There you go. You need to do better, Dione. And then Chris. Yes. Chris?
It's hard, difficult, but every week I come to a certain point in my life when Malaga plays, mostly after 70 or 80 minutes, where I think, why?
Yes.
Why?
Wow.
Why? Like, a lot is going wrong in the world. Like, we have such a beautiful planet, pollution, wars, it's all bad. But this is like same level bad.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do it.
Let him finish.
But if you bring onto the pitch every week Loren Zuniga,
I wonder where this was going.
Wow.
and people in the stadium around me, every time he comes onto the pitch, they are like, oh.
Yeah.
I hear everybody around me. I just don't understand why. Then bring no one. Leave it as it is.
I've just got Annie Lennox in my head singing "Why,"
It's not that he will change anything for the good.
Yeah, but do you remember that
Not
touch
winning without him.
Yeah, that's
What you mean?
If you're not winning without him, you're definitely not winning with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the game was up for him for me, and it probably has been for a long time. But the game against Murillo when he started up front, and he wasn't as awful as he'd been before, and pretty much the stadium was whistling him off, and I thought, it's done. He can't.
Well, the good news we didn't mention earlier in the news is that he is up for sale, we believe.
Yes,
so a January move does beckon, though. It doesn't leave us with a lot of options.
Where does he go?
Antequera.
I mean, he has a contract. Where do you?
To the highest bidder.
Yeah,
I'll pay for his
You have
bus.
to pay money to get rid of him. Go.
Okay. Right. Anyway, let's go on to happier thoughts. Biznaga is quite difficult, I guess, and I'll just. Well, yeah, because there's two for me. There's two obvious ones, but I'm still going to go with Murillo, but it's with a heavy heart because I've just described how excited I was for Haitam smashing that ball into the crossbar. So I was tempted to give it him, but I just thought for a 90-minute performance, I'm going to give it to Murillo. But
would we have drawn the match without Haitam?
We could have lost it without Murillo because he defended so well.
Yeah, but we would have lost it without Haitam.
Took a long-range goal to get past those two in defence. No, but then we could say that every week. Oh, let's pick the goal scorer.
No, but this week is different. Besides, when you score the goal of the season, I mean the goal of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm saying that I could go with that. If we're doing goal of the season and maybe even last season award, that done, signed. I'll sign up for that. But I think Murillo was superb. He's my Biznaga. But again, I'm saying like if Haitam had started, maybe almost certainly. But over 90 minutes for Murillo.
So just because he didn't start, you're not giving it
No. That's not always my criteria, but I just think, as I keep saying, Murillo over 90 minutes. Done. Okay. Nick.
I will have to agree with you, Matt, on this one. Even though Haitam got an 8 on my match ratings, you can't discount that impact that he had. I also had David Rubia in this conversation as well for Biznaga because, again, I thought he played really well, but then faded towards his substitution. But you've got to look at the context of both things. Haitam's goal, brilliant. Yes, fantastic. We expect him to have an impact and to be brilliant. Murillo is such an unknown quantity, such a young lad, and to come in and put a performance in like that on your first start against a team that is second in the league and do it for 90 minutes, you can't take that away from him. So that is why, even though Haitam on my match ratings was highly rated, Murillo takes the Biznaga because he was just pretty much flawless this entire game.
And I'm just going to throw it out there now and just say it. We've got to say we're so sorry already because every time we give a young kid a Biznaga, they either disappear, they salt, they get injured. So maybe it's good we avoid Haitam here. Alex, are you going with one of those two or someone different?
So shout out to Diego Murillo. I think he did well, but I'm going to go with Alfonso Herrero. I think that save, and I couldn't really he didn't put a foot wrong, really. Continues to impress me, and I stand by my statement I said on the live stream. He's the best goalkeeper we've had since we've been down in these divisions. I think better than Yanez.
So, Chris, are you going to pick Herrero too, or are you going to pick someone else?
Well, I'm going to pick Haitam.
I thought you might, which is fine. I think that's good. I think that's a good 4.
Because he's been imported last match.
Absolutely.
Against Cordoba, and he's being imported now with a hell of a goal. And he brings something extra, so I think he deserves it. But as Murillo got 2 Biznagas, shouldn't we do a name about Murillo then?
Well, we could, but again, this is conversation once we finish recording, I think. But I'm happy to go with Haibifa.
Well, if that's the case, just put it out there. Show me the way to A-Murillo.
That was what I had in mind. What I had in mind.
Like I've even been thinking today of puns around Haitam and Murillo, and you both come up with excellent ones. They're perfect. Yeah, we can.
Or we are flying high.
Yeah, we sort of did that last time. I like we've
No,
done.
that
We've
was
done.
now High Club.
Yeah, but it's the same joke, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, post podcast production meeting. Right. So that is Ibiza done with. There is the Guiricast meetup coming this Saturday, but Malaga are playing a game of football too. So let's go and talk about that game of football. Okay, before we perhaps talk about our opposition, Chris, I'll come to you first, since you sort of brought it up anyway, in regards of like how big a game is this against Alcoyano now? Are we thinking about chasing Castellon, and do we need to start winning again, or are we trying to, I don't know, pull away from Antequera and teams like that are chasing us now? Because just before you answer, I will say that I don't know if you saw the interview Dione did with Radio Marca Malaga, where he said, we can't obsess about being first in the league, which I thought was quite interesting of him to say, actually.
Is that an excuse for not getting there in the end?
Well,
yeah.
What do you think, Chris? Do you think Castellon are going to go with it?
I think you have to win games, and that's all you can do. I think it's not important to look at first place, because they are, if you're being honest, like Castellon is next level. I mean, Schreuder has that under control. There's nothing we can do. Dickie Schreuder has that. It's insane what they are doing.
Yeah.
We don't have them.
I would say
you have to look at Ibiza. But I think the most important thing is that we win matches at the end of the day. You get the 3 points every week, and then we will see where we end up.
Yeah.
But I don't think our team is, and yes, we are unbeaten, but a lot of, how do you call it, draws are in there. It's not like really, I don't see a team that is ready to go to to get in this situation of a contest, where you where you up to the level as Ibiza is, for example, maybe.
But okay, with the Castellon thing, I totally agree with you. I personally think, I don't watch 90 minutes of them. I did see them play 90 minutes, and I think we went toe to toe with them. But they do look, I think, like you said, they're not only seem to have a plan and they seem to score lots of goals, but I think they're pissed off as well that they didn't go up last year. So I think they're ultra driven, and I think that is going to be what charges them towards first place. It's a long way to go yet, but that's my feeling now. And the Ibiza thing, though, I do think, like we said earlier, we could have won that game again, and we could have won Leon. I do agree with you, though. I still think there's more levels in this team. I don't think we've hit our ceiling. And we've got youngsters, and my hope is that if we can have a good season and, I don't know, playoffs, and then see from there that these players are going to have experience under their belt, and if it doesn't work out, hopefully keep some of them and go again next year. I think
I'm not missing confidence. I'm missing
quality, you're saying.
Goals.
I don't know if it's quality. It's the will, or the drive, or the. I'm missing. I don't know what I miss. I don't know how to call it.
I think
if you look at Ronaldo, for example, or I don't know, call a tennis name, a top tennis player.
I think the word.
I wouldn't say that it's not giving everything. They have the will or the power to win every match.
That bala, as you say in Spanish, Chris, do you know that?
The what?
Bala, like bullet. That sort of like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cutting edge.
they have a winning mentality.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think the word would be like cutting edge. That sort of translates as, doesn't it? Like sort of.
And
Like-
that's what I'm pretty much missing with Malaga. It's all.
But I think that's what Castillon have got, and Castillon have got the
Yeah.
benefit of last season as well. Let's not forget they can use it as motivation, but they can also use it as experience of this league. Malaga are still kind of feeling their way out of it, and I don't know if you guys have seen the prediction league on B Soccer. It makes quite interesting reading, but already they're predicting that Castillon will finish this season on 82 points. So, you know, a 50% chance of going up now already from this position already, and it has Malaga finishing third. Do you know what I mean? Like, this league is very much Monte Carlo or bust. You know, there is one promotion spot for automatics, and then you go into the lottery. For me, to be honest, with the way we finished last season, I'd be happy to finish in the playoffs right now.
Absolutely.
And finish behind Castillon. That I'd have no shame in that. And I think Dione's right that we can't obsess on that. And we've just got to hope that Castillon go through their rough patch sooner rather than later. The only difference between the two sides are those 3 draws. Do you know what I mean? There's a reason those 6 points we're behind is because we've drawn 3 more games. That's it.
Yeah, I agree. And if you think one of those draws is away at Ibiza, one of them's, you know, they've been quite recent, really, haven't they? Which perhaps there's the Castilla game and the Cordoba game we've drawn recently. But like I said, like you said, there's lots of draws in there, Chris. But I think if you'd said to me, even I was going to say at the start of the season, but even after losing to Castellon, where you think, that's not a good sign, that we'd be undefeated going into almost December. And I went, whoa. And then he said, there's a few draws in there. I'd be like, I'll have that. I'm really like,
I no. Sorry, I'm not.
What? I don't understand. What, in what way?
I just don't agree with you on that. I think Malaga shouldn't be happy with the 3rd position in the 3rd tier. I'm sorry.
But your 3rd position.
I'm sorry, but if that is our standard, then we'll never make it back to Segunda.
No, but you've got to look at it this way: is that this league is very much a marathon, not a sprint. And Castillon at the minute, they've run out in front, and they'll do what they'll do, and they'll probably go to the end of the season and pick up every point. We've got to go through I won't call this a rough patch because we're still drawing games, we're still not defeated, but this is maybe as difficult as it's got since that opening game of the season. If you look ahead into the games you've got in December, all those teams that are around the relegation zone, some of them maybe the top of mid-table, that's your purple patch. And then coming into the new year, the same. We can only hope that Castillon slip up at some point from this position. There's no hiding. We're 6 points behind them now. That's 2 games. If Castillon draw against Ibiza next weekend and we win, then we're back within touching distance. We're back within 2 games. And that's how you've got to keep that mentality. Don't obsess of where they're going. Obsess of what we're doing. Make sure that we're putting points on the board. And then eventually, hopefully, we'll just slip past them.
Yeah, but
you're right, Chris. I absolutely agree with you. Malaga's ambition has to be that top spot.
I understand that that's the way we look at it, and I understand it. But if you ask me, Malaga should always go to end up a champion in 3rd tier. And I'm sorry, Malaga to me is lacking the fact that they have that. Well, what I just said, it's missing.
But
it's also not what the club is like. But I don't feel it within the club. I don't feel the power to. It's
well, look
also
at the difference between the 2 teams. There's not much in it, but there is a player at the top of the scoring charts for Castillon who's scored over 10 goals already this season.
Yeah.
Whereas our highest goal scorer is what? Roberto with 4. So this is the level that we're talking about. We are missing elements which Castillon have got.
Well,
for me, we've got money.
Well, this is it. Like I'm saying, of course, Malaga getting relegated. They're a big club and should be going for it. But in the context of everything, like it's a name, isn't it? Malaga are a name, and we've got a car crash of a sort of ownership situation. And then that's it. We can't
30,000 fans, more than 1,000 away fans every match.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm on the pitch, and I'm not saying, of course, we're a huge club, but in the context of what's on the pitch, I think these players are, perhaps. I don't know. I think we said at the start of the year it was a bit of an unknown quantity, this league, to us. I don't think on the podcast you guys did. I can't remember too many comments of we were going to win this league. There might have been we should or
we should.
But yeah, but that's also name alone, wasn't it? Really, we didn't really know like what we were coming up against, or
we didn't know how this squad would react.
And I think the two teams. I think you, again, because you guys did lots of the preview of the season stuff, you guys mentioned Ibiza a lot, and they're ahead of us. And I think Castellon's name, I think I might have even thrown it out there around the time we played them. I can't remember, but they were the sort of, and we're just behind them. I think, yeah, like, to be honest with you, Nick sort of made a really good point there, and I sort of forgot those two clubs are playing each other next week, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we could sort of go around in circles for this for a bit, and I'm sure we'll go back to it again next week, but let's perhaps talk about the opposition this week. Alcoyano, anything?
I do, actually.
Yeah, I've got quite a lot, actually. I've always found them quite interesting.
I don't want to steal your thunder, but just a few, just to give everyone a picture of how they're doing this season. Played 11, scored 8, conceded 9. Fairly average, I'd say. Top goal scorer is 2 goals, so not brilliant. They do have an ex-Real Madrid player in Antonio Calpe. He actually died 2 years ago. But I think the more interesting fact for me.
So he's not in the squad.
When you say they have,
they had.
You said they have. I was like, are they really?
Did I say have? I meant to say had.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was a bit scared what we were coming up against then.
So obviously everyone will remember them. For those who don't know Alcoyano, will remember them for beating Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey. But they also one of their previous managers. I don't know if you know this, Matt. So don't answer this. Was a previous Malaga manager. Any guesses from Nick or Chris? I'll go to Matt, who I know knows the answer.
I didn't do my homework.
It's Juan de Ramos.
Yes.
No.
It was one of his first clubs in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And also there
and
are
also in the what?
Well, they've got their whole squad is Spanish, but one player, and he's from Equatorial Guinea, which I thought was interesting.
Well, it's not even that. Like they seem to have a history of Equatorial Guinean players, which I tried to sort of find out, but couldn't get near. And actually, the one that plays for Equatorial Guinea is actually born in Malaga. Malaga's youth. Name. His name's Pablo Ganet. Played for Fuengirola, so I don't know what the story is there. And there's also a guy that's been in the news this week called Christian Aguero, who is also from Malaga and actually grew up near La Rosaleda and used to go watch Malaga. And he has come out and said if he does score at La Rosaleda, he will be celebrating, which I thought was a bold thing to come out with. And I don't think he ever played for Malaga or the youth teams.
No, and he knows he will never play for Malaga as well. So let's be honest.
And this is the other thing, and I'll ask you, Alex, and obviously Chris as well, in regard, because I basically on Alcoyano's Wikipedia page, it feels like something someone's made up a bit, and I've never heard this. Do you know the simile about Alcoyano?
The sort of no. I mean, I read the sort of motto, tener más moral que el Alcoyano, but I don't know about simile. No?
Yeah.
That one, to have more morale than Alcoyano. It doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah,
tener más moral que el Alcoyano.
Yeah. Because it comes up on the Wikipedia as a whole paragraph. A simile exists in Spanish, which includes the name of the football club. Tener más moral que el Alcoyano. And I was like,
the phrase originates in the 50s when they were losing a game 13-0 at home, but still never gave up.
Yeah, which I love. But I was wondering, like, I've never heard that before. I was wondering if it's actually a thing. People say that because I've got a feeling probably not. But as someone's
I've never heard it.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
that was my feeling.
their away kit looks interesting. The sort of a green, brown, white mix.
And then just the other thing, which is
Oh,
perhaps
that
more.
looks like, that sounds like me after a night of sushi.
Oh, crikey.
Chris.
And perhaps just the other things we were talking about, like Nick mentioned, there's opportunities to play lower sort of in the table teams. They're 15th, but they didn't win a game between match day 1 until match day 10. They seem to draw a lot and seem to get a lot of red cards, I noticed, which is good. But more worryingly, they won their last game 3-0 against Melilla at home. So that's perhaps more relevant to us. But they seem to, actually, not just them, though, their games seem to have a lot of red cards, which I thought could be fun. It's a shame Escassi's not here. He would have loved that. Anyone got any more thoughts on Alcoyano? That was my deep dive into them.
I find this a very hard season with all the teams we're playing against because I don't know shit of them.
Yeah, but
we play against them in the Copa del Rey or something.
Probably, yeah.
The same for me as Yeovil Bingo for TikTok for the week. We play teams like Averley and Farnborough and Truro. Obviously, I've heard of these places because I've lived in England, but it's sort of interesting to find out about these clubs that you would never have thought you'd ever play.
And actually, Alcoyano, sorry, my other bit, and I've just remembered this. I don't think I made a note of it. I didn't realize they played in the top flight in like the 40s. And like, I think I read somewhere they like finished above Real Madrid one season because I just thought they were going to be, I think they have pretty much played 3rd and 4th tier for most of their like 50 years. And they might have got a couple of stints in Segunda, but they were a top flight team. And
Segunda in the 2014, I think.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I wasn't sure. I didn't know it was as recent as that. Anyway, that's them. Any Alcoyano fans listening and want to give us more or join us on when we play them away, let us know. or probably if we've got something wrong. Anyway, Malaga, there's not really much else to say about them, really. I guess the big question is, would you make any changes to the starting 11? And I guess the big question is, Nick, Haitam to start or not? Or do we still sort of wrap him in cotton wool for a little bit longer?
Well, we've lost him.
Okay, so Alex.
Nick, you're on mute. Yeah, I'd say start Haitam. I think, he's had enough time to get used to it. He played, was it 70 minutes against Baracaldo, I want to say? Or was it?
Yeah,
he played 70 minutes. So, I feel like he's gaining that. He's getting that match fitness back up. So, yeah, I feel like it's about time. And also, it's a good game. It might do his confidence some good to, he obviously is on brilliant form. So, to carry on playing, I feel like it'll do him the world of good. If that means you bring him off after 60 minutes, that's fine. The big question is, do we drop Dione? And if we do, who for?
Well, this was the thing I put in our WhatsApp group.
Like you said, one up top.
Yeah, I'm a big advocate of because I don't know. I think Kevin seems to be training at the moment. I don't know. He seems like he can play, but I don't know. I'm all for the Kevin, La Rubia, Haitam, Roberto, young forward line, but I think that would be really exciting. And I think that would have, as you said, Bala. I think that does have all guns blazing because I think we're quite tight in defense and I think we can afford to do that up top. Nick, I don't know if you're with us this time. I was asking Haitam to start or not. Or is he still? Nick's gesturing. He has lost his voice.
He's still on mute.
So, Chris, obviously, you want to see Haitam start. You've expressed a lot of love for him.
I don't know. I don't know if we should start with him because they're being careful with him, and I think that's a good idea. So.
Okay.
I would love to see him start, but is it a good idea to start with him already?
If he didn't start, who would you want instead?
Well, I would go back to La Rubia and Kevin, I think.
And if Kevin's not fit?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Who is there then?
In that case, do you then start him if he's not fit? If Kevin's not fit?
Oh, that's a good question as well. Yeah, I guess
Maybe I would look at another player. I think there's
some youngster.
some youngster.
Yeah, we must have another one in the.
I know who I shouldn't pick. I wouldn't pick Lauren, for example.
Just not Juan Hernandez.
I think we talked about last week. I wouldn't be bothered if Juan Hernandez start again. I'm not saying you don't think we should write him off so quickly. We did talk a little bit before about like Dione was playing out wide a bit, and I don't think he was awful out wide. If we went back to that, I'm not saying he's the answer, but I wouldn't.
Is Manu Molina still injured, or is he? So he can't play. Not that he would.
I totally forgot about him.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting about how like Juanpes and Sangalis and stuff. I sort of keep like, oh yeah, they're in the background there.
But also, it's like Sangali showed he can play football, but is he like?
When's he back for? Is he?
I mean, is it an outstanding footballer?
I think he's a solid player from what I've seen. Is he back? Is he back soon, or is he more like? Is he more of a lengthy injury?
I think he was weeks, wasn't he, rather than like months. But and Chris has already said about Victor Garcia too. I can see Nick is penning a letter of some sort, and I don't know if we're going to get an SOS here.
Will we be able to read it? Because it look his picture quality's gone all blurry as well.
We're about to just wrap things up, so I'm curious to see what Nick's look like. Oh no, can you someone talk about something? Yeah, we'll start wrapping things up in a minute.
I can't read that.
Can you put it closer?
Something like that.
We can see he's sort of. It's gone a bit Charlie Chaplin for lots of just waving hands and slapstick comedy. So he has left us, but he will be with us for the Guiricast meet on Saturday, and I'm sure we all look forward to seeing him, plus all the rest of the gang. So, Alex, we might have a little pre-Guiricast meetup in the tavern Friday if you're still about.
I am. Yeah. So I get to Malaga at about 1, so I'll probably make my way leisurely down to Marbella, drop my stuff off at my godmother's, and
go to Marbs.
Go to Marbs, yeah.
Marbs.
I hate
first time I've been there since, I want to say, April 22, I think, since the Valladolid game. So it's been a while.
Nice. Go to Marbs.
I hate Marbs. It's not. It doesn't annoy me as much though. I've heard, particularly Southerners, I've noticed calling Manchester Manny. I hate that even more. But Marbs, I don't like either. Anyway, that will. If anybody's around Marbella and you want a little pre-match warm-up for the Guiricast meet,
go to Marbs.
Come to Marbella, and of course, Chris Marquez will be in Malaga from midday too for the Guiricast meetup.
Yes.
I'm forward to it, Chris.
Me too. Who do you think should do the, in case we win an award, which won't happen, who should do the talking? Because you have to say something on stage. And I thought...
Well, I hope it's not Nick because he can't speak.
Yeah. He's also too small.
Okay.
He might not reach the microphone, but we... And then I thought, should Luke do it? But then I thought, yeah, but nobody would understand Luke.
They can.
We have a problem.
They can work it out between them, can't they? But
yeah,
they can. If I was going to say, wish us luck in the awards, and
we're not going to win, so it doesn't matter.
Philip and Nick representing us there. Yes. Hope they have a good evening.
Hope we have agreed with everyone that if we don't win, we steal an award.
Yeah, and. And enjoy your days off, Chris, even though you're not going there.
Thank you. Yeah, not sure what to do.
Well, you can warm yourself up for Saturday. But anyway, that is enough from us today.
Also, I'm average height.
What's that? Goodbye.
Where's that average height? In Legoland.
Thank you, Nick, who is communicating through some sort of, I don't know, StreamYard.
Spotify, go on YouTube now and look at the bottom of the
Yeah.
screen.
Yes, so it says goodbye from Nick, all-time average height for those listening on podcast. And if you are listening on podcast, thank you for listening. If you've been watching on YouTube, thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Guiricast on Sport Direct Radio. We will see you Saturday, hopefully. But for now, adios and vamos Malaga.